So just giving a couple people time to get on the live video. We're up to 5 now. Well at home. Okay, so this is going to be just something that we are, I had lots of people asking me questions, and this is going to be a way for me to answer them where you can refer back, or someone has the same question as you can all get an answer. I will do the best to my ability to answer any questions you guys may have. I'm going to start out by saying that the end of the year trip is a question that I have a lot of people ask me about. We have been waiting to make this call until we saw if they were going to do the distance learning and all this other stuff. Denver says this is dumb. But this distance learning or the video, because the video is not dumb. The bells are still going in the school, by the way. So the trip as of now is canceled. What that looks like for you is that we are going to get with the band parents. Well, I'm going to get with the band parents, and we're going to determine within the next couple weeks how we're going to get your refund or your payments back to you. Now, you do not get any fundraiser payments refunded back to you. The only thing you get refunded is things you made in cash or a personal check. And I have that information printed out, and I will be able to put that information on our Facebook page if you are needing to be reminded of what's going to be coming back to you. But like I said, give me a little bit of time so that the band parents can meet and determine what the best route for that. Yes, we are. It sucks not being able to have practice, not be able to do state contest. We have yet to hear from the OSSAA if they are going to cancel state contest, but after this state superintendent board meeting, I can guarantee you they will. Mr. Davis had already made the statement a couple weeks ago that they would probably cancel it, and we were getting emails saying that nothing was official yet, but it is leaning towards the cancellation. They weren't sure if they were going to postpone it or whatever. But with the CDC and the public schools not being able to, or kind of regulating how we can meet, there's no way we can practice for the state contest. And ultimately, even if they did like a video route where we record a video and submitted that, there'd be no way for the groups to get together to create a video. So I guarantee you here in about an hour, we'll get an email saying that the OSSAA has canceled state contest. So what that looks like is this has never had to happen before. So Davis and I were talking about it, and we don't know what that looks like. We don't know if they just will consider district contests to be, as far as like sweepstakes go. Now, we were still holding out for state jazz, because even if we couldn't do state band contest, state jazz is a little bit later. So we were like, well, I bet we still get to do state jazz. Now that the school, when I say the school, I mean Oklahoma, right, as a whole, now that we're switching to distance learning, which will look different. I'll kind of go over that in a second. What that means is that they won't have state jazz, because again, there's no way for us to meet and actually practice and or go to the contest and then have people in the same room to do that. So distance learning, what that means is, let me first stress by saying, don't be doing anything right now. I've seen a lot of people and heard a lot of people kind of freaking out about this, homeschooling their children. That's great. Always push your kids to learn at home. However, until April 6th, give them a break. They're going to need to be mentally stable in order to do this next thing anyway. So distance learning can look like Google Classroom work and online assignments, or maybe like if you're in English, you can be like, hey, read this book and we'll discuss it in like a week or whatever that may be. I'm just kind of coming up with things that I've kind of heard so far. I am not an English teacher or anything like that. All I've done is create a U.S. history assignment for a teacher that needed help. So that's all that I've done. However, Distance learning for people who do not have internet access will look like in the form of packets, as far as what they were talking about before we let out for the break. So distance learning for people not having internet access, we will create packets. If that is still the situation, we'll create packets, and then we'll be able to get the packets to you. And then if you need textbooks for that packet or whatever. As far as distance learning goes, like for instance, the one that like if you're doing Google Classroom, if you need to read a section of the book, there will be a picture of the book so that you can read it virtually and you won't have to have anything, hopefully, in there. So we are going to have a conference call, on the high school level tomorrow. As far as middle school goes, I'm being told that I'll get some information tonight. However, I know that you guys probably feel that it's been a little open-ended with answers and stuff like that. That is because we didn't want to come on and officially state anything until we knew some concrete answers. So now that we know that the trip is a no, as of now, I did have someone ask me when I did the color guard video just a second ago. I had someone ask me, said, can we revisit that if everything is good in May, can we revisit it for a summer trip? Yes. I mean, I've been in touch with the Cardinals, and as of right now, they don't even have a season planned. They don't know when they're going to be able to start up or whatever. So even if everything had been okay and the schools decided that they could come back together and have everything back to normal, the Cardinals wouldn't have a season for us to go to the game as of now anyway. So, like I said, for those of you who are just now coming on, you will be getting your deposits back for the trip, but it will take a couple weeks to figure out how that's going to happen, and as soon as we get some kind of information, we will give it to you. As far as your instruments and personal items in the school, I do not know as of this time how you're going to get your personal items out of your locker. The school will probably come up with a game plan and then be able to tell us. Once they tell us, I will inform you. I'm sure they'll do an all-call and everything, but I'm going to do my best to relay information double or triple the time on our Facebook pages and through our text alerts and all that good junk too. So, as far as your instruments go, I'm going to kind of conference with the administration to see if they have an idea of how they want us to go about you guys getting your instruments. This is for two reasons. One, your instruments are yours, but the people that play school instruments, we're going to have to, I'm talking about on the high school level now. We are switching our mindset into marching season. Now that we were kind of wishy-washy, we were kind of listening to different shows, kind of getting an idea of what kind of music we wanted to get into. But now that we know that state contest is a no-go, our total main focus is how can we move forward from this and where can we go from here. So Mr. Davis is working on trains and enjoying his break, doing manual labor. So anyway, so we're going to be looking at marching shows and hopefully come up with something. And then as far as like me, I can't speak on Mr. Davis's behalf, but as far as I go, this is just more planning time. Let's take what we have and let's try to move into something more positive. Now, I'm kind of relaying. If you have any questions, comment them and I'll answer them in the order that they go. Thank you, Jessica. I'm just trying to help out the best I can. I don't know what these wave things look like. That's kind of cool. So, I haven't seen any questions yet. Just kind of statements. So, if you have a question, let me know. However, excuse me. I already went over kind of what distance learning is and your trip information and how to get your stuff. If the school doesn't have a plan for how you're going to come and get your stuff from the band room, if it's in there, then we will come up with a way. I'm just kind of going with if they have something that they want us to do, then we'll try to do it, the best way that they feel is the best way. However, if they don't have a plan and they say, you take care of it, we've talked about loading everything in the band trailer and making the little bus route so that you guys can get your stuff out, or coming up here, being smart about it and having people come in at specific times or whatever, to kind of keep separated. However, you can come get your stuff. So that is something that we've also talked about. So you will get your stuff. If you play a school horn and you want to get the school horn, if you're in high school band, I don't see why that's an issue. If you have siblings that are in younger bands that play school horns, that is going to be a Davis question, and he doesn't have an answer for me yet. I am not sure if he's going to allow 5th and 6th graders, maybe even 7th and 8th graders that aren't in high school band to take home school-owned instruments for that long of a time. Normally, we don't let them take them home over the summer anyway, so this, to me, I'm kind of just going off of this is kind of like summer for band. As far as middle school goes, they told us that any extracurriculars will not have a distance learning plan, so we are just to help out. Like for me, and for instance, I'm helping out with the middle school office on a few things, but I will not actually be sending out assignments for band. It was kind of an ongoing joke there for a couple days. I was like, well, I guess we can do a conference call and all of us could play at the same time and we can see how that works. It was just kind of like a how can you teach remotely to a group of people. So that's something where, as far as the middle school goes, we don't have to worry about any of that junk. However, I do urge you to stay on top of your stuff, because if they revisit this and they decide that maybe school will continue distance learning, but activities can now start gathering, I guess, like in May, then, we may want to have a spring concert. We may meet up and have a couple rehearsals and perform. That's something that you can always be thinking about. Or if you, like Denver specifically, Mr. Davis is really want you to get on the bass guitar. That might be something where even our seniors can help in this instructional time. You don't have to be next to Alex for him to help you with the bass if he's, And as far as the seniors go, I have not heard anything about graduation, prom, any kind of that situation. They were talking about in the state superintendent board meeting, they were talking about kind of amendments for OLAP and stuff like that, where you are needing certain credits in order to qualify for OLAP. So I would highly urge you into going and watching that, or reading. I'm sure there'll be stuff on the news that kind of highlights those situations too, but it was about a 2-hour board meeting, and they touched on a lot of information that I think is viable for a few of you guys, especially people that have seniors or people juniors or getting up there that need qualifications for other stuff. I have not heard anything about local scholarships. I'm assuming that we will have some kind of answers be flowing in starting tomorrow. However, we do need to keep in mind that just because it's the most important to us doesn't mean it's the most important on the tier of things. I mean, it kind of sucks, but I will try to get answers to your questions answered with the respect of knowing that these people are being stressed out about how do we get our children, government assignments to them, or English or math or whatever. And but also some things, prom is important, graduation is important, scholarships for your future is important, and sometimes just coming to band is important. I mean, obviously we think it's important. This is what we do for our jobs, for our life, so our livelihood. So I will try to get any information as far as like extracurricular things answered, because that's kind of going to be the voice that I take on. I'm going to try to get you information. Anytime they give it to me, I try to shoot it out on this page to kind of give you, shed a little bit more light and all that good junk. So I'm not seeing any questions. There's about 22 of you or so watching. Do any of you guys have any questions about anything I have not touched on? Any questions at all? I like that. Nope. Okay, 8th grade promotion. I will find out more information on that tomorrow. However, as of now, I would assume that they would probably be nixing the 8th grade promotion and the dance. And you'd still be promoted if you complete what you're needing to complete. But as far as like the promotion and the dance, I would assume that would be no more, which kind of stinks because I got middle school teacher of the year, so I was going to get to speak at it. Stinks. Awesome, Alex. Good news. He said he'd work with Denver on the base. Yes, Kevin, we went over the band trip refunds. I have this information, which I will share on the Facebook page of exactly how much you guys have paid, either in cash or check. Just to kind of reiterate, we will not give refunds for the gun fundraiser or the cheesecake fundraiser. That kind of stuff will not be refunded to you because it wasn't going to be money in your pockets in the first place. So, as far as the gun fundraiser go, that needs to be something that the band parents decide on what they're going to do. The cheesecake fundraiser, I will tell you that we will put a hold on the cheesecake fundraiser profits. I will not allot them to anything that we are needing or anything like that until we find out if we're going to do something for these kids that want to do it later on in the summer or next year. So I will. There wasn't that many people who sold cheesecake fundraisers, probably about like 10 or 15 of you. The high school band. So those are going to be the people that I'll be getting in contact with if we decide that we're definitely not going to do that. Any other questions? Okie dokie. So I'm always here to for any information that you need. Mr. Davis is here. He's getting pretty crafty about answering text messages. I don't know if he got a smartphone, but by his Facebook page, he's been sharing photos and stuff. So, I got one more question. What about marching band? We are in marching band mode. We are looking at shows, and as far as my brain set is, I'm into next year. So we've kind of been on teeter-tottering, like, should we continue with this year's activities? Like, should we continue our mindset on state contest, state jazz? Should we continue that in our forefront, or should we completely go on to the next thing? And my mindset is I'm on to the next thing. So I want to find a way to finish kind of the year out as far as like spring concert, band awards, band trip, that kind of stuff. We can answer those questions. And try to do the best that we can. It's kind of all up to the CDC and kind of if people will stay home or whatever, that they need to be doing. I mean, of course, I'm here at the band room. So if people would stay away from other people and the spread would not continue to enhance or grow, then that would definitely help the situation, because if it just fizzled out, then they could say, hey, activities, now you can meet. Because, I know football usually gets, around May, I think, is whenever they start being able to practice or something like that. I don't know anything about football. But, baseball, they quit in the middle of their season. So I'm sure whenever they can get back in, we can get back in. Sorry, I'm looking at an email now. So I will get a hold of all of you guys, and I will be sending out a Google form. This is something else, speaking of marching band. Yes, seniors be sad. I agree, Alex. I think it's super unfortunate for you guys, and we had such a great group of seniors. Some of you guys are just like top notch, and I hate that this is happening to you. We're going to try to make this the best way we can, though. We're going to try to think about what we can do to not take away your moments, but just change them. So maybe that'll be something that we can do for that. Now, what was I saying? Dadgummit. Oh, marching band. I'm going to have a Google form sent out to you guys where I will be asking you for your addresses. I'm going to be sending the agreement form and the enrollment form for next year. We can't do a marching show if we don't know who we have. So, please send this stuff back. I'll probably, now that we know that this is going to be where you guys are not going to be able to be up here for class, what I'll probably end up doing is either where you can mail it back to us, or where you can drop it in the band room or something like that. Maybe we'll have like a Dropbox or something, where you guys can turn these forms in. We need to know who, or you can always send them to me digitally. Take a picture of it, shoot me a text message or an email through the Remind app or whatever, and I can print them off here at the office. So we need to know who we're going to have. So if any of you guys are not returning, that's a big question that we need answered so that we know how to go on with marching season and who we can expect. So, yep, as far as like 8th graders coming up in the 9th grade band, I'm going to do a little information for the middle school band Facebook page. But I wanted to start with you guys so that you guys would probably have the most questions. Okay, so if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I will answer them the best of my ability. Once I get information, I will shoot it to you. And whenever we have more information on your trip deposits being refunded, we will get that to you. And lastly, I will create a Google form that will be on the Facebook page. If you do not have Facebook, well, obviously you guys have Facebook because you're on Facebook Live. But if you know someone, especially section leaders, if you guys know someone that is not on Facebook, their parents don't have Facebook, they have no access to it, let me know so I can get a hold of those people so I can find out their information on if they're going to be in marching band or whatever the case may be. Okay, hopefully this answered a lot of questions that you guys had. You guys were kind of quiet compared to the color guard. Their video lasted, it felt like forever. So, you guys stay safe, be practicing, don't lose your chops, hone in on those skills. I'm listening to some of these shows that, the trumpet parts are in the stratosphere, and the flute and woodwind parts are just like, blah, 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 blah. So, I'm excited to get y'all into a new mindset. So, hopefully, this helps out. If you guys owed us money for the black uniforms, don't worry. I'm not going to be hounding at your door to pay anything that you may be owing. However, don't be pounding on my door for your trip deposits either. So we have them. We will get them to you. They will not be kept for any reason. So let me know if there's anything I can do. And if there's a couple people, Becky Rice, if you could get a hold of me. And then Trey Freeman, if you can get a hold of me, that would be awesome. That way I can talk to you guys about some things outside of this. If you guys need anything answered, just let me know. Thanks.